Right. Here's a subject that I have been asked before. It's regarding DJing, or my gigs. Why video and audio record my gigs, right? Well, initially I started audio recording my gigs a few years ago, so I can actually listen back to them and listen into any mistakes that I've done during that gig, which I hadn't picked up on the night. And then audio recording the gigs became a thing, like general recording of it. And during that time I was just taking videos and pictures of the good bits and like through my phone. And in the recent year or two, I started videoing on my 4K camera of gigs. There are two main reasons why I video and audio record my gigs. Reason one is so I can offer my clients a copy of the audio that I've recorded and the video of the time, so they can listen and watch back from my perspective, and so that they can have a copy, but obviously with a charge on, and I charge them for the video and audio on a DVD and CD or USB data stick. Obviously it varies on size. Basically, the higher the gigs, the more I can charge, because obviously it's time to do that, do the recordings, the money that I have to spend on DVD, CDs and or data sticks. So I've got to make a profit on that. And then the second reason why is for security and safety for myself and others. Okay. So this all came about when I did my last residency gig at the White Heather. I heard stories about gypsy weddings, that these gypsies are known to start fights at events such as weddings. And I heard this one story about a DJ who did a gypsy wedding. A fight broke out and he decided to just put background music on and leave, because he wasn't there to be threatened, hurt or anything like that. He was there just to do his job. And when I heard that story from him, and I thought, it's not going to happen to me, not a chance. And sure enough, 2023 came about, did my last resident wedding, and I was told it was a gypsy wedding. I thought, oh fuck. Here we go. And that was the exact same day I saw one of my other DJ friends. He was there to set a few things up on his own. Had a chat with him and stuff like that. And I didn't mention about gypsies to him. And so the night started without a hitch. And this one guy came up to me and said, I'm a DJ, can I do at least half hour? This was before 10 o'clock. And I said to him, look, I don't really like anybody guest-wise touching my gear. And I was really hesitant to let him do it. And so I thought, you know what, I'll let him do half an hour. And so I said, right, half an hour, that's it. And he said, I'll go and get my USB stick, I'll come back to you. So he brought it back, and whilst I was DJing, I was trying to plug it in, get it running on virtual DJ, and make sure it was working alright. Whilst I was doing that, he went away, and then he came back and he said, is it working? I said, not just yet, just give me a little bit of time here, because I was working at the same time. So 5 minutes passed, and he came back and said, is it working? I said, yes it is. Right, let me announce you in. So I did. Got him in. He started about 10, and half an hour later I started back up again. Honestly, it was within 5 or so minutes when I got back in, and I noticed a brawl happening between two guys. Punches being thrown. And thereafter, all hell broke loose. Glassware flying, chairs flying, you name it. Like, literally, everything under the sun was flying. Blood was spewing and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is not good. And at this point, I was like, what do I do? Stop the music or carry on? Because I've never been in that situation before. One of the staff members said to me, carry on. I get a text from the boss saying, stop the music. So I brought the music down, and somebody else said, carry on the music. So I put a little bit of background music on. And I get another text saying, stop the music completely. Just stop. So I did. I just stopped. And then, obviously I didn't want my gear to be damaged. So I was standing behind the booth, not getting involved, just watching what was happening in front of me. And a staff member who was on at the night, and she shouted my name because she was at the marquee entrance door from the outside. She shouted at me and said, "Come here." And so I went over to her and said, "What's up?" And she said, "Your partner wants you." Okay, fine. I'm not gonna mess around yet. And she saw some of the commotion outside because she was sitting in the van at the time. She wasn't feeling that great. And yeah, from that point on, there must have been about 20 coppers. They literally just swarmed the place. And as soon as they swarmed the place, everybody just quieted down, except for T that they wanted to carry on. And then minutes later, paramedics arrived to treat somebody who was severely battered. It was one of the guys that I first saw when it all started off. It's like, whatever I got myself into. So it's like, the best action that I did was leave the gear on until such time, because I didn't want any more fights to happen. Thankfully, my gear wasn't damaged, neither was a DJ friend of mine who's now retired. But the guy who owns the property, he was there that night, and he was pissed. I mean, he was pissed. Not drunk pissed, but angry. And so all the staff members, including the owner of the building and myself, and once most of the guests had dissipated, except for a few and a couple, we're all in this one room, inside, well, obviously the main building, and one of the female officers who was there, obviously these officers were taking notes and asking questions and stuff like that. So this officer came to me and she said to me, "Who are you and what were you doing?" So I said, "My name, and I'm the DJ." And she said, "Okay, right." She said, "What did you see? What happened? And what went on from then on?" Right, typical questions like that, because they're obviously getting different stories from different people around the place, so they can get a picture of what actually happened. So I basically answered the questions. Obviously I was DJing, and at this time, about 10:30, I saw two people fighting at the side door there. I had to stop the music and I stayed behind in the booth until I was asked to go outside. left the gear on, and I didn't want to be involved. And she said, okay, that's fair enough. As long as you weren't involved, which is good. And one of the last question she asked was, would you like to press charges? And I thought about that, and obviously I didn't have much time to answer, so all I could say to her was, no, not at the minute. But if anybody else is going to, then I might as well. But currently, no. She said, okay, that's fine, and that's all I've got to ask at this stage. She even asked my number as well, just in case if she needed to give me a call, or somebody to give me a call, if anything does happen and stuff like that. And thankfully it never came about. And following day I went back to pick up my gear, literally pick everything up. Sadly I wasn't paid, because the guy who was running the place, not the owner, but the guy who was running it, such a schmuck. He still owes me over £300. Honestly, cheap date. From what I've heard, that he was taking cash out of the till and running away with it. Never paid a dime for it. And yeah, so this is why excuse me. This is why I audio and video record my gigs from that point onwards. Whether my clients like it or not, I'm still doing it. Even if my clients say I don't want any videos recorded, I'll just say to them directly, saying, look, I've had this happen in the past, and this is for not just for my safety, it's for yours and everybody else's safety, regardless if they've got CCTV. Also, if anything does happen, I've got video evidence for the police to look at. So, yeah, it's always a lesson learned. I know a number of DJs don't do that, but for me, I do. It's just, it's one of those things that I like to make sure that it's there. I did a Christmas gig in December of that year, 2023, and I took that gig on from a DJ friend of mine who actually set up his own gear that very day of the Gypsy wedding. He's got another business now, but that was part of his other business. I was DJing it with my own gear. So he called me and said, look, I've got a Christmas gig. are you free to do this gig? And I said, yep, I can do it, without a second thought. I used his gear. I took my soundboard controller, laptop, hard drives, and that's pretty much it. I got there, set up my thing, sound tested, stuff like that, and I had a little bit of time to spare, and I actually messaged him saying, look, after that wedding that I did, I'm actually nervous. Like, I've never felt this bad in a while. Generally speaking, I don't get nervous with my gigs, but just for that time period between the wedding and the Christmas gig, I was literally scared. So I literally had a chat with him, and he reassured me, saying, look, don't worry about it, this crowd isn't like that, so just go out there, do your best, and you'll be fine after an hour or so. And I'm glad that I actually spoke to her about it, because I wasn't going to hide it. I even spoke to my partner, and pretty much said the same thing. She actually said to me that she didn't want me to do this anymore, which is fair enough. Even months after that, she didn't want me to do it anymore. And at some stages, I didn't want to carry on. So it did actually affect me. And so I thought, no, I've got to buckle down. I love music. I love interacting with the crowd. It's a passion that I have. And so from that point, I continued. And yeah, it was a horrible experience to have as a young DJ like myself, to have it go on. So yeah, I thought, let it out. Why I video and audio record my gigs is because of that reason, what I just told you. It's just for not my own safety, it's for everybody else's safety as well, from my point of view, as a DJ. And a little thing as well, but if any bits of my gear get broken, I'll spot whoever did it, and I can say to the clients, right, a bit of my gear has been broken by this person, and I've got evidence that this person has done it, and I'd like to get compensated by that person to replace it. So yeah, it's something that I do now with my gigs. So it's like a kind of a win-win situation type thing. But yeah, I thought I'll let you in a little secret thing that I've had hidden. And my side of things as well. but I'm not saying any names, nothing whatsoever. But yeah, DJing is not all happy. It's, say, 98% happy and 2% is shit and bad news, or sad news, basically. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave you on that note. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.